Okay, so just thought I'd give a quick update, see what we've got. It's been a bit of a week looking at AI and how we generate NPCs. So this is original code where it's just scattered them randomly around the city, and if I start the AI, you will eventually see a couple of them, hopefully, start moving. There you go. It's very slow, it's very clunky, there's no real logic to it. It generates the NPCs miles away from the player. Don't want that at all. They start in roads, sometimes they start in buildings. It's all generally just a bit not good. So what I'm going to do is just jump back into the editor, load up my city test, and I'm going to show you the node system that I've created. Now this system is designed to allow me to direct pedestrians, but not only does it allow me to direct the pedestrians, tongue twister, it allows the engine to generate the positions much more logically by actually picking a node and then looking to see what nodes are connected to it, and then generating pedestrians between them, so they'll be in fixed places. So you can see I've got my blank city. Now just going to go into edit pedestrian nodes. I've got none, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a node. So I'm going to add that node there, and I'm going to add that node to there, and what I'm doing is just going to connect this node together like that. So now you can see those nodes are connected. So what this basically means, in the game, if the engine decides to generate an NPC at one of these two nodes, it will detect the connection between them. So you can see this one here says it's node 1 and its connection 1 isn't to node 2. If I click on that one, it says it's node 2. Now it has no outgoing connections, but has one incoming connection from node 1. So it knows there's a two-way connection between those. So I'm going to just create another node here. This time I'm going to come back to this one, set connection 2 to go to that one. So you can see that now has two connections. So if it picks this node, what the engine can now do is potentially pick one of those other two nodes and generate an NPC anywhere along that connecting line. So I'm just going to add a few more nodes in and connect these together. It doesn't matter the order I connect them in because they're logically picked up anyway. Oops, I'm going to say my building, so I'm going to create another node. I'm going to put it, I don't know, there. I'm going to connect that node up to that one as well. So basically these are now the pathways that the pedestrians will follow. So that I can control them in a much more logical way. I'll just create a node there. Oops. Add that one, connect that node up. The interface is a little clunky just now, but this is obviously my internal tool, so it doesn't really matter. What I'm going to do is come over here, create a node there, and connect those two together. And I'll create a node there, and I'll create a node there. I'll create a node there, and I'll create a node there, and I'll connect these all up. So connect that one to that one, that one to that one, that one to that one, and then that one to that one. So what will happen is when I go back to the game engine and I copy this over, this node system will be in the main engine, and the computer will use that to generate the NPCs instead. Just save that there. I'm going to quit out the editor. Now I haven't done the export for this functionality yet, so what I'm going to do is just copy the node file that's been generated into the final build folder location, and go back. I'm going to go run the city engine again. Now this time it's going to detect that that node code exists, and it's going to use that to generate the placement of the NPCs. But that comes just two things. One, it keeps them off the roads, buildings, and everything else keeps very logical. But two, the AI path mapping, you can see there, they've generated only where I've created those nodes, but they've randomly dispersed between it. But when I start the AI, look how much quicker that is, because I've cut out an enormous amount of useless path mapping, because now the pedestrians are only generating and mapping across what I've said they can do, which is sidewalks and crossings. This is 100 NPCs. So it's 100 NPCs fully path mapping all around this bit. Now the next obvious logical stage I've got to do is extend this to the entirety of the map, but have them so that once an NPC goes too far away from the player, or a bit where the player can't logically see them, is erase them and have them generate a new NPC wandering toward the player, so that wherever the player goes, they appear to be in an ever-flowing city, bustling with life. Now this system took about a week to implement, give or take, with a few hours each night, but an almost identical system I think will work fine for traffic. So within the next week or so I should theoretically be able to introduce a similar system where traffic will flow around, and that will work very simply. If I just stop that again, go back to the editor, load up my city. So what I think will work quite nicely, now in the NPCs, it picks a random node, it looks to see what nodes it's connected to and linked to, and then it generates or spawns an NPC somewhere across the link between two of those nodes. When the NPC is moved and it needs a new location, it simply comes along and picks another random node and then maps to it. However, if I do it differently for roads, for example if I had a node here, and then another one here, then I could easily tell link there to there and just set the car, you have to drive to the next one. And when it gets here, it would have two options. It would have another node here and another node up here, and it would choose randomly between two, so the car would either turn left or it would turn right, and then each of these would then link to another node. So every time there's a junction there would be a node choice, which means traffic would naturally navigate randomly around the city by simply choosing, instead of a random node to go to, a random node out of the options available, which is a much simpler thing, which means there'll be practically no performance hit whatsoever in path mapping for cars, and they should just toddle along quite a thing. So, not a bad week. Let's see how I keep getting on.